I'll take you for a ride on the devil's ship. I'll take you for a ride where you sink or swim. Now come with me and let this story begin.
Charlie Cavanagh, welcome to the podcast. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
You have something in common with our producer.
What's that?
You both love punching women in the face. No, but it's like I said, it's boxing week just by coincidence. So it's fun. It's funny because we met completely random.
Yeah.
Completely at a comedy show. You were at the bordel with your friend. You came to watch a show. And then when I asked people to do and you told me that you were a boxer, at first I thought you were fucking with me. And turns out, no, not only are you a boxer, you're one of Canada's great new hopes.
Well, it was actually kind of funny when we met because I remember going and you asked, does anybody not speak French? And I thought that because it was a comedy show, everyone was going to like interact. Maybe I was just the only English person, but I was like right in the front. I put my hand up. I'm like, me. And you're like, I'm picking on you the whole night. I was like, oh no, what'd I do?
Yeah, because also where you found, because I assumed you were from Montreal.
I'm from New Brunswick.
Which is fucking cool because you come here to train.
Yep.
What's so special about Montreal for training purposes?
Montreal, it seems like all the boxers are in Montreal. A lot of it's pro scene. So sometimes like when I spar, I'll be sparring against girls who are pro. But anything's better than where I'm from. I love New Brunswick. I go home every chance I get. But in terms of boxing, all I get are some novice men. Like I don't have any female sparring partners. And even the men that I spar aren't very experienced. So it's just completely new level here.
Do you light them up?
Yeah.
Oh, that must be fun. It's a little fun. It must.
It's a little fun.
Just to light them up. Like I got this. And you just beat the shit out of him.
My first boyfriend was a boxer at my club, and we would spar together.
And you started lighting him up after a while.
Yeah.
How did you catch on to it so quick? Like why boxing?
So I actually started out in judo. I did judo, mixed martial art, for about 5 years before I started boxing, and I did that just because my dad wanted me to do some sort of combat sport to learn discipline and that sort of thing. My brother and I both did it from a young age. And then I started to really not like it. I had a friend who did boxing in middle school and she's like, oh, you should come try it. So I went down to the club and I just really liked it. And a lot of the skills were transferable. So I already had like the good footwork. I already had the athleticism, and I just sort of connected with the club and the people there and built on that. And then I had no intention of fighting. Like I just went because I was sort of an overweight kid and I wanted to like be active. And then the coaches were like, hey, you have really like good punches. Your footwork's good. You should try sparring. So I did it. And the first time I sparred was awful. There was a coach there who was very like old school, and he threw me in with like two guys who were a few years older than me. And he's like, she's got to learn how to take a punch. So they lit me up. And
two guys at once?
No.
Because I would assume they'd light you up, yeah.
No, individually, but they both lit me up, and I remember getting out and being like, that's never going to happen again. Like,
wait, they didn't pull their punches at all? They were just decking you in the face?
No, I was seeing stars. I was probably concussed, and I would not recommend training someone like that, but it definitely lit a fire under my ass, and I was like, am I allowed to swear on this?
Of course, yeah. Do whatever you want. If you want, you can practice your punches on him.
And I was just like, yeah, now I have something to prove. And I don't know why. I've just sort of always been that way. If I'm not good at something, I want to be better. And I kept coming back and kept getting better.
I think that's probably why you're good. You don't feel, I think you stop being good if you feel like, all right, I made it.
Yeah, you always got to train like you're number two, even if you are number one. But I was definitely number two for a while.
And now with the Olympics coming up, you're training, you're going to the Olympics?
So it's not confirmed. Basically, there's a pathway. So I'm on the national team right now. I'll have to fight in the summer to reconfirm my place on the team. So I'll fight within Canada, and then winning
you have to fight other Canadians and beat them.
Yeah. So I think there's only one other girl in my category that will be going to this qualifier. And she actually beat me in 2019. She's been 10-time national champion, like very experienced girl.
That's impressive.
A lot older than me. So I think I have that youth, and more recently I have some international experience that she hasn't been getting. So I'm confident, but she has beat me in the past, so it's definitely not someone to be overlooking. But winning that fight will then put me to the Pan Am Game qualifier. And then provided I do well there, I'll go to the Pan Am Games, and then that's a qualifier for the Olympics. So I'm on the pathway, but there's still a lot of steps.
There's a lot of boulders in front of you.
Yeah.
And these fights, so let's say you were talking about the age. You said that woman is older. Mm-hmm. How old are we talking about?
30s.
The Olympics, is there a cutoff?
Yeah, so the elite age category, which is the age that you would go and fight at the Olympics, is 19 to 40. So it's a pretty big.
That's a huge window.
Yeah. So you can be a junior, which is under 16. You can be a youth, which is 16 to 18. And then once you turn 19, you're open class, you're elite. And then after 40, you go like masters. That's just like older people that want to keep fighting.
Yeah, I know that from ball hockey. They have the masters and it's just older people. Okay, so essentially, if you do well and you qualify for the Olympics, you would kind of be the next big thing in boxing Canada, also because of your age. Because like we said, there's a runway. You would have the longest runway because you're the youngest too. So like there's so much that could be done with you for years. Whereas if somebody makes it and they're in their late 30s, like maybe they have another Olympic left, if that, depending on how the rest of their career goes. But there's not that much around it. Whereas you can have like an illustrious career.
Yeah, I mean, I just happened to get into it when I was in middle school, and I'm really glad that I did because I do know a lot of people that waited until they were in their late teens to even start. So it's been great. I tried to go to the last Olympics, and I was only 20 years old when the Olympics happened, but the qualifier I was 19, and Boxing Canada was like, "You're too young. Like, we don't want." Like, I knew that they didn't want me to go, and at the
Didn't
time,
want you to get hurt?
that really upset me. They just said I didn't have the experience, I didn't have the age, I didn't have the strength in my category. I had won the youth world championships, but they said, there's a different level of strength that comes with being an elite. Like, these people have women's strength. Like, you're still in a kid's body. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm beating these girls. Like, let me go. And unfortunately, in the qualifier, I lost to a girl that I'd actually beaten twice. I'd got an elbow, and I had to have stitches, and it was just like a fluke. But I was out, and
Also, it's kind of like you lose by forfeit because you have to get stitched up?
No, I did lose the fight, but I think the fight would have gone the other way had I not been like
Elbowed in the
gushing
head?
blood. And normally if you elbow someone, that's supposed to be like a point deduction or like something like that, but the ref was on the other side when it happened, so that didn't happen. But after that fight, I honestly thought I was done boxing. Like, I took a break after that.
Were you emotionally wrecked?
Kind of. I was like, if this Olympics isn't it for me, then what's the point? Like, I want to go to the Olympics. And if I can't go now, like, I don't know what's coming with school because I have aspirations to go further in school, but I didn't think anything was going to come of it. And then I took a break for a few months because, first of all, I had to let my eye heal. And then the pandemic hit. And then after that, if you can't be within 6 feet of someone, how are you going to punch them in the face? So we're all not boxing. And the longer I was out of the ring, the more I was like, I don't know if I can go back. It's been so long. But then it was so weird. In 2022, so last year, Boxing Canada calls me up and is like, hey, like, we need to put together a team, but we can't have a nationals because of COVID. Like, do you want to be on the team? So I submitted an application because they chose the team based on just like an application because we couldn't have nationals. And I got selected to be on the team. They contact me and they say, we're leaving for Continentals in 4 days. You need to tell us by tomorrow if you're coming. And me, I hadn't fought in like 2 years. I'm like, holy crap, I'm going to go fight the best girls on the continent. Like,
That's crazy.
that's nuts. So at first I was like, there's no way I can do this. Like, I'm in my final year of my university degree. I'm taking a Bachelor of Science. I got exams coming up. I haven't fought. Like, this is crazy. Why would I do it? But then they said,
How
if
many
you don't,
women would you have to fight?
it depends how well you do. And I didn't really know. It could be anywhere from like 2 fights to 4 fights kind of range.
Okay.
So I don't know. I initially wasn't going to do it. And then they said, if you say no, we're going to have to give your spot to the number 2. Like, we're going to have to give it up to someone else. I was like, no one's getting my spot.
Yeah.
So I went. And my first fight back in the ring was against Mexico, and I whooped her. Like, that was a good fight for me. And it really brought my confidence back up.
The Mexican women keep getting the shit kicked out of them in boxing. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know.
The men are so good.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I know in the pros sometimes it's not like, it's more so for money, but in the amateurs, I don't know. Like, it was just the girl. I guess I had the better day that day. And then I fought Brazil in the semifinals, lost a close split decision. So I ended up with a bronze medal at that tournament, which qualified me to go to the 2022 Worlds. That's when stuff got real because I went there, had 5 fights in like 9 days, and just kept winning and winning and winning and winning.
It's like blood sport.
Made it all the way to the finals and just like completely beat up because that's a lot of damage to take in a week.
Yeah, it's just people keep punching you in the goddamn face.
Yeah.
And how was the finals? How was that?
The finals was the first and only time I've ever been stopped. So I lost to Turkey, Her name's Sermonelli, and she is like 4 or 5-time world champion, Olympic champion, very, very good boxer, very strong opponent. And the Worlds were actually in Turkey. So she was in her hometown. Stadium was packed, like 3,000 people cheering for her. It was crazy. Everyone was booing me. I was like, whoa.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah, the energy was nuts. And I honestly don't think it should have been stopped. A lot of people that watched the fight didn't think it should have been stopped. Like,
Did you not have your hands up?
No, so basically, if someone's hitting you and you're not hitting back, they'll give you an 8 count to make sure that you're okay. So I got 3 8 counts, one of which I'd say, yeah, my head went back, so I understood. But 1 or 2 of the 8 counts, I was like, did I really need an 8 count? I was throwing as well. So, and then because there was 3 8 counts, they stopped the fight. There's only 30 seconds left of the last round, and I was bouncing with my hands up, ready to go. But, the referees, they really just have your best interest in mind. And if they thought that I was hurt and they wanted to make sure I was safe, so be it. Definitely a blow to the ego because I felt like I was okay and I didn't want to be stopped. Like, obviously that's hard and embarrassing, but.
Well, it wouldn't be. I mean, you fought so many people for so many days.
Yeah. It was a very, very cool tournament to be a part of.
And then that's what sparked you. You're like, all right, I got to go back and beat this Turkish girl up.
Well, kind of. I mean, just after taking a break for so long and then doing decent at the Continentals and then doing so well at the Worlds, especially it was my first year as an elite. So I've won the Youth World Championship in 2018, but then to come in my first year competing as an elite on the international stage, I wasn't expected to do that well. Even like people on my team, coaches, like they were excited for me to go, but no one expected me to make it to the medal rounds. Like it was sort of like that underdog story that I love. And just every fight that I won, I just kept getting more momentum and more confidence. And then you get into the medal rounds. They recently introduced prize money, which has never been a thing.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
Now I'm doing what I love, fighting, making money, and winning. Like, of course I want to keep doing it.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah.
If only we could get paid to punch women in the face, huh, Poseidon?
I'd be a millionaire.
Yeah. He's running with the gag. Someone's going to take us out of context and be like, this guy keeps punching women in the face. She's there to give him tips. But so now, looking forward, do you see in Canada, not just Canada boxing, I guess Canada fighting in general, because the combat sports are doing well, do you see a path forward for young people too? You think little girls are going to look at you and they're going to be like, fuck, there's opportunity. Like she's breaking some boundaries for us. They're making money. Maybe there's something for me. Or do you think Canada still has a long way to go before we have like an established like fight network?
I think both, because I do think that we've come a long way, and I do think that people like myself and other women in Canada that are doing well in boxing make it more like something, oh, I could do that. Like, look, these people are doing that. I could do that. And I love that. I have a little mini-me back home in New Brunswick who just went to the first ever female boxing Canada Games, because boxing has been in the Canada Games forever, but it's never included female boxing, which...
Do we not have enough for a tournament?
I think it was that we didn't have enough back in the day, and then there was like a long stretch of time where boxing was removed from the games altogether. Then they reintroduced it in 2019 or 2017. I think it was 2019. And I actually would have been eligible to go, but because they didn't have female boxing, I didn't get to go. So then they reintroduced it this year, and I got to watch her go and like make history as the first ever New Brunswick representative at the Canada Games for boxing. She won a bronze medal, and she's always like young girl. She's 16. She fundraised for me when I first started out. She looks up to me, and just knowing that I helped a couple of young girls go and fulfill that dream and put a stage for boxing in Canada is really cool.
And you're just getting started too.
I'm just getting started.
This is the nothing period. This is the introduction. You got so much ahead of you.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm excited. I'm really excited. But I do think that we have a long ways to go, because I think, for example, like, why did we not have female boxing in the Canada Games? Why did I miss out on the Youth Olympics because my weight class wasn't included? Why did I miss out on the Commonwealth Games?
Maybe because there's not enough.
But there is.
Good,
like nowadays.
because you don't want to fight local waitress. Like you don't want to kill someone. You want to fight.
No, you want quality
at
fights.
your level.
And the thing is, now it's growing, but it's growing at a pace that the regulations aren't keeping up with it. So it's growing, and that's really great, but we need to accommodate that by allowing more weight classes and giving women more opportunity in sport.
What weight classes are there now?
So There used to be only 3 Olympic weight classes for women. I don't know exactly what they were because I don't know the lighter weight classes, but now I believe that there's 5, and I know that mine's one of them, so that's good.
What's your weight class?
66 kilos, so like 145 pounds.
Okay, and this is new.
Yeah, so I used to fight up until last year. I fought at 69 kilos, which is about 152 pounds.
So you had to bulk up.
Well, actually, I used to walk around just at that weight, and it was pretty easy for me to maintain. But then when I was around 20, 21 years old, I started to naturally lose weight anyways. I think I just sort of lost my baby fat. That's what my brother always says. My cheeks were chubby, and started losing that weight. And then I started walking a little bit lighter. So fighting at 69, while I was still able to do it because I had the skill and I was used to fighting girls at that weight, I wasn't big for that weight. I was quite small. They called me String Bean at Worlds.
Because you looked smaller than everyone
I was
else.
small and skinny because a lot of the girls are very short and stocky. So by comparison, I hold my weight differently because I'm so tall. And yeah, so then the new weight classes were introduced just last year, and 66 kilos was one of them, and it was Olympic. So it was perfect because 66 kilos was just enough that I could like lose a little bit of weight. But now I actually walk around. Since centralizing to Montreal, I've put on 5 pounds of muscle working with my strength and conditioning and dietitian. And that's allowed me to walk around 69 and fight at 66. So I do a little cut.
How long is your cut?
Strong. It's not a long cut. Honestly, we're able to manipulate it in just like 5 to 6 days, like 1 week.
So healthy, like a healthy 3 kilos to take off. Like you're not draining yourself too much.
Yeah, we're not really manipulating my body fat or anything like that. It's more so just like putting in lighter foods and reducing your carbohydrates, like, or your fibrous foods that like regulate going to the bathroom, and then manage your water. It's a really straightforward cut. It's not anything crazy.
It's not something that when you do it, you're like, oh God, okay, give me Gatorade, give me
It
something.
does suck. Like the night before, you have a very small dinner. It's like chicken and rice. It's like this big. And then you go and do a hot bath, and you have to sweat out weight, and then you can't drink any water
until the weigh-in.
Until the weigh-in the next day. So that night is not fun. Like I'm not having a good time. I'm chewing gum, saying, "Oh, I can't wait till morning."
I never understood the weigh-in and the draining process at the end. They should just have the weight class be whatever the 2 athletes would be right after the weigh-in. So let's have the weigh-in with some water. They're at X weight. That's what the goal should be, so that they don't have to drain.
But the problem is with that is each athlete's different, and that's the incentive to not cut a lot. So with the pros, the weigh-in's the day before, so they'll cut an insane amount, and then they have a whole day to recuperate. They could step in the ring 15 pounds heavier than they were when they stepped on the scale.
It's crazy.
But for amateurs, we do weigh-ins the same day, and that's supposed to minimize this insane cut because they don't want 2 people getting in the ring and one person being 150 and one person being 165. They don't want that big difference.
And do you, because it's the same day, are you more tired?
Because I don't do like an insane cut where I'm not like skipping and like doing all these workouts. It doesn't really bother me at all, but I know some athletes do struggle with that. And that's why I would sort of advise against like any major cuts. I think that's sort of the wrong approach as an amateur where you do have to fight the same day.
Do you have like a preference when it comes to fighting? Do you have a preference in time? Like I like my training camp to be X amount of time, and then I like to have like this many fights in this time gap, or you're ready to go at all times?
I think you have to be in this sport. You have to be very flexible, and you have to be able to adapt because nothing ever goes as planned. There's always some sort of flight delay, and you have like a weird layover, and you get stuck, or an opponent doesn't make weight, or someone doesn't show up. So you kind of have to be ready to go with whatever comes. Obviously, I have my ideal circumstances. Like I like when we go away, when we travel for our camps, because I feel like I get in the headspace of fighting.
No distractions.
Exactly. It's a little bit different than my same day-to-day routine of when I'm here in Montreal. And there's like certain things like that I do enjoy, but you kind of have to learn to roll with the punches here.
And has anyone ever gotten up in your face?
Like before a fight?
No. In general, it could be anywhere, like outside, because they don't know what you're capable of, and then you got to check them.
I'm honestly not a very aggressive person outside of the ring. I don't get into fights or anything like that. I do think that there's a lot of times that people don't expect that I'm a boxer. They say, you don't look like a boxer. And I'm like, well, try me. Like, I don't.
What's crazy is you have more strength than you could see on you, because I was even watching today the video with the medicine ball.
Yeah.
Of you punching the medicine ball, the uppercuts, and it was flying. I was like, that's a lot of fucking, that's strong.
Yeah.
That's
It's
why.
hard.
But that's why I was wondering if people ever get like they're just rude or something, and they're like, if only they knew that I could kill them.
People definitely don't think I'm a boxer, and sometimes when they find out, they're like, yeah, right. And I just kind of whatever, but
Shrug it off. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because you have you have like a docile demeanor. If only they knew with these fucking hands. Because I know from boxers that I like friends of mine, it's a whole different beast. Like the stuff that you could do with your hands, quickness, and it's crazy. You could just cut people up. It's fucking nuts, boxers. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
I like boxing. It gets talked about not as much as it used to because of like mixed martial
MMA,
arts.
Yeah.
But it's such a crazy fucking learning how to punch properly, and it's such a crazy sport.
Yeah, I think that obviously people really enjoy watching the UFC fights, and it's entertaining, and there's a lot of personalities, and it's fun. I enjoy watching them as well. But I think the difference with boxing that I really like, because I do get asked with my judo background if I would ever go into MMA.
Would you?
All the money and all those things. And I personally wouldn't, because I feel like with boxing, it's nice. It's almost like a craft, and you're honing your craft and you're perfecting one thing, rather than, I think a lot of fighters in mixed martial arts are sometimes like a jack of all trades. Or if they are really good at their one thing, then you put them in a situation where they're doing something else and they don't
exploited.
do as well. Which I have no desire to be on the ground getting my arm in an arm bar.
Yeah, if they exploit your weaknesses, yeah, okay, I get it. But it would be cool though.
It definitely would be cool.
Do you have are you building in your head? You're like, you know what? The bigger I get, the more I want to develop like a certain character, like to be, because that would be cool to add that. Because remember, like Tyson. I mean, it was Tyson, but he had a character. Like it would be cool to have a character.
I know what you mean. A lot of people do that, and I think it's really interesting. I don't play into much of the semantics of like
the mind games
before the fight and like trash talking and all these things. I'm
You
more
should.
of just like
You should.
I just love to box, and sometimes I'll do a little mean mug if I'm feeling like really like, oh, I can't wait to get in there. But for the most part,
because you like them, I guess. That's another thing is if you like your coworkers. Like unless you have someone that you really don't like, is there someone that gives you attitude when you go to worlds or tournaments and you're like, you know what, fuck that bitch. Next time I get a chance, I'm knocking her out.
there's definitely people that I fought. Like for the most part, I really appreciate sportsmanship. So after the fight, hug it out. Like, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Win or lose. And some people aren't like that. So when you encounter those people, it does sort of put I'll remember that. Like next time we fight. But for the most part, I'm friends with even a lot of the people that I've fought, win or lose.
Yeah, it happens in all most
Yeah.
sports. It's like that, especially after the fights. They have a lot of respect for each other. I'm Greek, so I love athletics. I like people of sports. I like athletes. I respect
Yeah.
all that. So I watch a lot of sports. I still play hockey. I'm still involved in. It's just something that's always in me. I'm not sure Poseidon's a big sports guy, or if he ever was.
I like sorry, I like fighting sports a lot, and I did boxing for
Wait, he
2
did.
years.
He used to box.
Oh.
Yeah,
And I'm
and
trying to get him back into it now. But yeah, he used to box.
Yeah, I boxed 2 days straight today. I feel very good. It gets a lot off your mind. It's a very good cardio. Like I
Full
do
body workout.
I do 4 rounds of 3 minutes each, and I'm dripping sweat.
yeah.
And how's the homeless guy? How did he?
He was not too happy.
He didn't know he was boxing. It's like, what is this? You're like, I'm losing weight, bro.
And then I was not gonna say what I was about to say.
But yeah, it's no. So we're athletics are important for Greeks. Like we love that kind of stuff. So I understand when you say like certain opponents, you meet them after you fight, you have respect for them. You feel like you're all in the club
Yeah.
of athletes because only they truly know what you're going through and what you're thinking and what it takes. Also losses. A lot of people don't understand when you lose what it takes out of you emotionally. Forget physically. Sometimes you'll lose and it's not the damage you took. It's emotionally what you took. Most people watching will never understand that. They'll be like, all right, it's done. I'll move on. And then it stays with you for a while. And it's that stupid anxiety, the anxiety that you're like, I wish I could turn back time. If I could just...
you just keep replaying it. And sometimes you feel like you could have done more, which is the worst. When you feel like, oh, I could have beat that person, that's the worst. Because sometimes, like, for example, at my fight at Worlds, when I lost in the finals, that girl I knew was just better than me at that point.
The Turkish girl?
Yeah. Like, I came back with like a chip on my shoulder to train hard so that next time I beat her, I will be at that level to beat her. But on that day, like I wasn't winning that fight. Like she was just on another level. But then I've lost fights where I'm like, that could have gone either way. I just didn't do enough, or I didn't do this and I should have. And those are the ones that suck even more because you lost. So as much as you say, oh, I could have, but you didn't. So you can't change it.
And that would bug me too.
Or people say, "Oh, I thought you won that fight." I hate when that happens. If it's like a close fight, don't tell me that. I lost the fight.
Yeah, because I too think I won it, and I don't want to think about this because they gave me the loss.
Yeah, because it's an L in the book.
Which is the worst.
Yeah.
When you know you were, and sometimes it could be a fucked up decision too. Sometimes when you replay and you watch it, you're like,
yeah, I won that.
yeah, I fucking won that fight.
But boxing's political, and that's
yeah.
why like they're trying to take it out of the Olympics. So after this Olympics, it might not be in the Olympics anymore. So like this might be the last shot.
Boxing.
Yeah.
That was one of the first real Olympic sports. Poseidon, am I wrong? Boxing. We used to fight each
let's
other.
Google it.
That was one of the first Olympic things. We had wrestling, we had boxing. That was one of the first. That's crazy.
But they say it's too politically charged and like all these decisions that are wrong. And I'm like, well, then get better
Judges. That's
judges.
it.
Like, don't blame the athletes. Don't punish the athletes.
Yeah, get better judges. What is this bullshit?
Yeah, in 1896, actually.
No, not 1896, bro. Are you joking right now? I'm talking about the actual Olympics.
Oh,
in 1896.
Sorry, 688 BC, yeah.
Yeah, it's boxing.
It was the
bro.
23rd Olympiad.
So, okay, he's mixed up, but
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
It's okay, Poseidon, but I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we used to wrestle, we used to racing with feet. Yeah, so this is crazy. Why would you remove boxing?
I know.
No, I don't like. It's politically charged. I get that, but everything's the Olympics are politically charged.
Yeah.
You're rooting for your country. You have the best in your country versus the best in other countries. Technically, it's politically charged, but the whole point of the Olympics is athleticism. It's you prove you're better at X thing on that ground, on that field, whatever you're competing in, and then it ends there. You have mutual respect, and you move on.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. I don't like this stuff.
I don't like it either. But I don't think, as much as they say after 2024 that it'll be taken out, the following Olympics is in LA. The Americans love boxing. They're not going to let it be taken out. They're going to fight for it. So
we're gonna have bum fights in LA if they don't. No, they're gonna allow. I can't see them taking out boxing because I heard them a little while ago. They were asking to put in stuff like chess and dumb shit. That's not. I don't look, man. I think chess is impressive. I have friends that play high level chess, but it's not a fucking sport.
I see it as like a game.
Yeah,
Like a challenging game. Challenging.
I'm not. It is.
I'm not sweating.
That's what I'm saying.
playing
It's
chess.
not physical. It's mental. It's super hard. Like to be the best at it, and it's very impressive. And I like watching the best play chess. But I don't consider it a goddamn sport. Like I don't want to watch it in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Am I
if
bad?
I was
Am I
a
bad?
chess player, would you say I'm an athlete? Like that
No,
just sounds
that's
kinda funny.
that's the thing. I wouldn't call you an athlete. I'd be like, you're a chess player. Mm-hmm. Like the esports. You know the.
Yeah. I was just thinking that.
It's the same problem I've always had, and I love video games, but I've always had the problem with esports. Just that they're called like e-athletes or whatever the fuck. It's like they're gamers.
Yeah.
It's not really a sport. It's a competition, but it's not.
But is everything that's a competition a sport? No.
No, that's I guess it's language. I don't know what the fuck. It just bugs me.
Yeah.
But the chess thing, when I heard that, I was like, this is stupid. You can't just have everything in the Olympics.
We can't have chess in the Olympics, but no boxing. That would be really upsetting for me.
Look, if we have chess, I want to see Magic the Gathering. I want to see them bring back Pogs. I want to have all kinds of random ass competitions at the Olympics. Beer pong.
Oh, my God.
If they're going to do that, dude, it's so stupid. No, I don't think, but you never know with these dumb decisions. But what about figure skating? That's even worse when it comes to judging.
That one is also considered being taken out. I think those are the two, boxing and figure skating.
That would be such a blow to figure skaters. Where else can you use that skill?
I don't know. Maybe go to the rink in the winter.
But you know, like you can't use it for any it's very specific.
It's very niche.
At Disney.
That's the thing. You have to get maybe a job with Disney on Ice. Like it's very, very specific. It's very niche.
Yeah.
So that would suck for them. They train their whole lives and like, nah, it's not a real thing anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, that would suck. But boxing, I don't know. I don't think they're gonna take it out. Are they talking about taking it out just for women or all boxing?
No, all.
Which I guess would be fair, but no, that would suck.
Yeah.
And then you're forced to go. What about, do women have the leagues that I know that women fight in right now in boxing are the ones that I watch here, like, you know, because Kim Clavel goes for the belts, the WCBC stuff, and MPH that I was talking to you earlier. Is there other competitions that we're not aware of, like that are known internationally? We just don't have fighters fighting in them.
Yeah, like the women are competing on the same stages as men, like in the World Championships, in the pros, in the amateurs. Like women are boxing, and we do have that opportunity now, which is great. Yeah, in Canada, obviously Kim Clavel, but there's not a huge pro scene, not a huge successful pro scene. Like there are a lot of pro boxers in Montreal, but I would say Kim's like everyone knows her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Kim?
I don't know Kim. I haven't been to any of her fights. I know that she's a really good athlete, and I've seen them, but I kind of don't love pro boxing because a lot of people at the stadium, you know, on Team Canada talk about going pro. And to me, it seems like a completely different sport because you're fighting, instead of 3-minute rounds at this really high intensity, you go to these longer fights of like 6-10 rounds, and the pace becomes a lot slower. Yeah. And I believe women's pros are 2-minute rounds, so shorter rounds and more of them. So the pace gets a lot slower, which is not something that I like. I like really high intensity, and that's one of the things, one of my assets in fighting is that I keep going and I don't get tired easily.
You stay intense longer than the other girl.
Yeah, okay. That's like one of my biggest assets. So if you give me a 2-minute round, they're not getting tired as much because the round's shorter, and then they get a break, and then they come back out, and it's just sort of like...
It's pulling away some of your power.
Yeah, exactly. So I prefer this style, and where I don't really play into the semantics of, you know, like trash talking and all the media behind it. Like I think
you would have no choice.
But in the pros, it's very much your personality, your that sort of thing, which it does not that it takes away from the sport because they still are athletes, but for me, like I just rather prioritize like the fighting, which is what the amateurs do.
Isn't that the next level though? After Olympics, after like you're gonna have to look at the pros, get one of them belts.
You can see it as the next level. To me, I think it's more impressive and more difficult to win the Olympics than it would be to win like a pro fight. You can
Let's say next Olympics, you make it. The whole thing we were just talking about, you beat these fucking chicks up, you make it, and you get a gold medal. You're the best of the best. You're telling me you're not going to go pro?
I don't plan to because I have aspirations outside of boxing. So I want to go...
What are you studying in, by the way?
So I did a Bachelor of Science with double major in biology and psychology. I just graduated last May, and I applied to medical school. I unfortunately didn't get in, but not so unfortunate because I wouldn't have centralized to Montreal and started training for the Olympics if I'd gotten in. So it was sort of like a rerouting, but I do want to loop back through and try again for either medical school or dentistry or something in the healthcare profession. So I kind of can't box forever and also pursue those.
It would also look weird if you're a medical professional and they're pulling up videos of you being like, I'm going to murder this bitch. It would look insane.
Might not look good.
Okay. I get your point there. That would be hilarious. I'd be like, that's fucking funny. But yeah, you're right. It wouldn't look good. But okay, so you have your aspirations. I have my goals. I would love to, get a medal. I'd love to represent Canada. I want to do this. But I have other things I want to do outside boxing as well. So if you could accomplish all of them, then you're happy.
Yeah, I'm sort of all over the place because I do have aspirations in other fields. That's not to say that it's hard because the longer I'm here, the more I train, the more I fall in love with it, and the more I have that drive to be like, well, I could do more than one Olympics. Or, like, worst comes to worst, if I don't get that gold medal in Paris, like, I'm not going to be happy. I want to go back and get that gold medal. So I can't really say what's going to happen until it happens, but that was the plan. The initial plan was to go to the Olympics and then go back to school.
Okay, and that's kind of what's happening.
Yeah, as we speak, that's sort of the plan. But again, things change. The longer I'm here, the more I love it. So,
have you fallen in love with Montreal in general?
I can't tell you that I have, but to be honest, I haven't done enough. Coming to your show was probably one of the only things I've done is like getting out in Montreal.
Really?
Because I live really far east. I'm looking to move come the end of my lease in July, but I live really far east by the INS where I train. And I'm just so far from everything.
There's not much to... I know exactly like the area that you're in. Yeah, it's not... There's nothing to do.
No,
it's desolate almost.
Yeah, it's like I'm from a small town, but then I come to Montreal and expect it to be so lively, and I'm like, this place is dead.
Yeah, you're in the outskirts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you were closer, not even downtown, even if you were closer to here, there's so much stuff happening. Like there's stuff to do and see and walk around. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're at a tough spot.
But when I moved here, I didn't even get to come see the places. Like I looked at a place online and then signed the lease and then moved here. So I kind of did the best with what I had. But now that I'm here, I'm able to sort of like, I'm going to look at a place tomorrow and like I'm able to sort of like scope out places, see the neighborhoods, and then make a decision. So
you're gonna like it so much more.
Yeah, I think I'll like it more once I get into a new place.
Plus the summer, this place is happening.
Really? All the festivals and stuff.
All the festivals, people are out. It's a different city in terms of Canadian cities. Very different. Like it's the way they're outgoing, the way they like to live, just be happy. The summers here are intense.
I've heard good things. Like everyone says, in terms of the big cities like Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, everyone says Montreal, like, oh, you living in Montreal, you're going to love it. So I'm optimistic.
You're gonna have a good summer. Plus, we'll direct you to the best fucking spot. You're gonna have,
perfect.
this summer you're gonna have fun. As long as you're here and you're not punching people.
I'll be
in
around
the
the
face.
world, to be honest, but when I am here, it'll be fun.
When you're here, you're gonna have fun. So now, like moving forward, do you have like so you have your trainer, you have the team that you work with. Do you have like a manager or someone that's helping career wise also at the same time, or no? You're like, look, I'm just gonna train, do this, and I'm in charge of everything. Maybe your parents or they like, who's helping you decide all this stuff?
So I actually don't have any like team or manager or anything like that. I have a teammate of mine who does have that, and she's a little bit more successful, a little bit further down the line than I am. And I can see how that's definitely a benefit career-wise because it's hard to do it all yourself. I'm an athlete. Like my job should be to train, not to focus on everything else.
Yep.
But, I don't really have the resources to bring in people and do that sort of thing. So I'm just training and trying to reach out to people and make connections and grow my platforms in that way to sort of connect with people. Making all my like little Instagram reels and like connecting with people like you and just like talking to people and enjoying conversations. And hopefully that way I'll be able to make more authentic connections by actually meeting people face to face. And that's sort of the route that I've been taking with it all.
I think you'd be good for Canada boxing, like I was telling you before, like either like commercials or like on the like a cereal box or stuff like that. I think you'd be a good face for them because you're wholesome, but you're an athlete. You represent Canada well, and that's kind of I feel like what we need next generation wise because we went through a period of time where only like pieces of shits would get the clout. Do you know what I mean? And everyone was like, I'm looking up to that, and it was always garbage people. So it's good for young people to look up, like, I could do that without being an asshole. Like, it's good to have wholesome people be on the spotlight when they're at the top of their game.
I like that because I think there's always this sort of expectation for female boxers to be very, like, masculine and...
all the ones that I know are not. You're all feminine.
But the thing is, when I go to international tournaments, a lot of them are very masculine, and, like, I've been told, oh my gosh, there's no way she's a boxer, like that sort of thing. But I like being able to show that you can be the best at what you do, but you don't have to change who you are. And like, I'm a very feminine person and I like pink and I'm girly and that's just who I am. But
you're also an athlete. Yeah.
Doesn't mean that I'm not a good athlete. Doesn't mean that I'm not a strong boxer because I am.
It just means that you don't have access to steroids. That's all. Kanaka, we know this. Now he knows what I'm talking about. There's a lot of these girls that are like, no, I'm all natural. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Okay, you have half the shit that should be in a horse. Stop. But it's good that you could natural. But that's what I'm saying. You're natural. You're delightful. It's good to have that as a figurehead. You know what I mean? As something for people to look up to, kids. Because I don't know if you noticed.
It's less intimidating for like young girls. If I was a young girl, I mean,
if you look like a monster, let's say if you were roided up right now, and people knew like there's something off. They'd be scared, and also like I can never look like that because if that's natural, then I'm naturally not built like that. Yeah. And if it's not natural, I don't know what the fuck she took to get there. I can never be that. But it's you. Mm-hmm. You look like a normal human being, but you're out there kicking ass. So it's more relatable. Mm-hmm. And young girls don't always have like an easy path when it goes to athletics. They don't always have an easy icon that's close to them to be like, I could do this too. So I think Canada-wise, it would be, I don't know, if I was Team Canada and if I was doing that, I would totally push like the young new star that's actually not being a psychopath outside of the ring. I would push them to be in the spotlight. But that's if I was their marketing team, that's what I would do.
No, I understand that. And I appreciate that because when I was younger, I definitely didn't have that role model, someone in my age or in my country or province or someone close to me that I could look up to and say, wow, like I can't wait to be like that. There was definitely people that I knew of, but they were not in direct contact with me. Like they weren't someone I knew. So now being in a position where I feel like I am doing things for Canada that I want to show younger girls, it's nice to sort of like in my community in New Brunswick, I'm like in direct contact with these girls. I want to do one-on-one sessions or I want to hold classes and talk to girls about boxing and see if they have an interest and have them try it out because why else would they try it? Like you have to dip their feet and like you have to show them and
of course,
see if they like it because they might.
And then if it's good because they live vicariously through you. Mm-hmm. So like she came from here, she did this, she went to Turkey. It just makes it accessible. I know in my experience, when I see someone from close to me or they do something, it just makes it instantly. I'm like, oh fuck, it's doable.
Yeah.
Right? So
when I represent Canada, I love representing Canada, but more so than that, because I'm from a small place, I feel like I have this additional thing where I'm representing St. John, New Brunswick. Whereas if you're from like Montreal or Toronto, like there's a lot of people doing big things. But when you're from a small place, everyone's on your back and you're putting your whole city on the map, and it feels so cool. Like the support that you get before, leading up to, and also afterwards is just.
Does it ever make you
anything.
anxious? You're like, oh no, the hopes are riding on me.
Yeah, and sometimes if you lose a big fight and you feel like, oh, I let my town down or I let them down, but the people that actually are there for you and know you and care for you are with you, like they're ride or die. Like they're not just gonna dump you because you lost a fight.
It's hard though to get. You can't separate from that. Like we were up. Like I was up for an award for podcasting a couple of days ago, but I knew I wasn't gonna win it. I knew who was gonna win it. Like they have a big show and they should have won it. And it bugged me when I was speaking to people and they were like, "You're gonna get it," and I'm so excited. And I was like, fuck, they're gonna be upset. And like it's no control. It's subjective. Yeah. I was like, fuck. If it was just me, I don't care. Like it's just an award, but. It's like, fuck, I don't want people to be sad for nonsense.
Yeah.
So it always sucks when people like they put their expectations on you, but you can't control it. The more you're going to do, the more they're going to want to support you. And then there's going to be these times where you feel like, I could have given more. I wish I didn't let them down.
Yeah.
But it's all part of this it's a crazy psychological game in competition.
It is.
It's nuts. Do you think there's ever going to be an age where you get tired of punching people?
I think there's going to be an age where I give it up.
Are you still going to want to punch them?
Yeah, exactly.
Just
I don't know. Like there was a while there after the Olympic qualifiers where I just didn't have the drive to do it anymore. I felt like, what's the point? And I think having that break was really good for me. I actually joined my university track and field team and was competing in track and field.
So you're a fast runner too.
I'm not that great. I was doing okay. It was just keeping me in shape, and I like to be active, and it was something fun to do. And it was challenging, and I liked it, even though I was not that great, like compared to people who had been running for years and years and years. So that was frustrating, but it was something to do during the pandemic. And then once you get bit with that boxing bug, you always come back. Like you're never out of it. I thought I was done, and then I was like, I'll come back. Now I'm here.
That's that's like me with the comedy bug with stand up.
Yeah.
As soon as I did my first open mic, which was supposed to be like a one-off thing,
You're hooked.
I was done. Mm-hmm. It's like heroin. It had me for life. Yeah,
I know what you mean, because it's probably I imagine it's a similar feeling. Like you're up there on the stage, everyone's watching you, you have the lights. Like it's like you're there, and it's similar in the ring. Like you're in the center, the lights are on you, the crowd's there, they're cheering for you.
You're doing what you're good at, what you're born to do. Yeah, it's a whole other.
Adrenaline.
Oh yeah, it's hard to explain that to people. Mm-hmm. It's not the same as chasing the bus that you missed. It's a whole different adrenaline when you're up there, and then controlling the high when you get off stage. Same thing, like when you finish a fight and you just won. Mm-hmm. That adrenaline stays with you. You get spiked for a while. That night, you're not sleeping normally. No. You're gonna sleep happy, but you won't sleep normally if you get any sleep at all.
No, you're up so late.
It's such a crazy. It's weird that we compete in fights. Mm-hmm. It's strange.
It is strange.
It's a cool thing. I like it, but I mean, it's very strange that we're like, let's just beat people up and see what happens.
Yeah, let's just fight. And it's funny because now that I'm here and I'm a centralized athlete and I go to work every day, and my work is going and either punching people in the face or punching a bag, or like it's fun. It's so much fun, but it's like, this is my job right now. Like this is my occupation. This is a little strange, but
like this is the weirdest timeline ever. This is,
yeah.
Do your parents ever feel weird about you fighting?
My dad loves it. So my dad coached recreationally. Like he never went into competitive boxing, but he loves boxing, and he's been a part of the boxing club that I started at for years.
Okay.
So he loves it. He tells everyone about it. He loves it. My mom, I feel like a mom never wants to see her daughter get punched in the face. She watches my fights but she loves that I love it, and she loves watching me win, obviously, and she loves seeing all the countries that it's taken me to. I've been around the world. Like she loves it for
true.
me.
You're fucking Indiana Jones right now. You're fucking Lara Croft. You're going all over the world because of boxing. It's opened up so many doors.
Just in the past year, I think I've visited 9 countries. Finland will be 10. I'm leaving in a few weeks.
I hope you punch some Finns in the face.
I don't know if I'll fight Finland, but maybe. I'm hoping I'll get a rematch with the girl I lost to here at Strandja Cup.
Oh, well, where's she from?
Ireland.
You could beat up an Irish girl.
I'm Irish too.
That's why. There you go. You got it. You could beat up an Irish girl.
Yeah, it's fair playing.
Was the Turkish girl big?
Turkish girl was short and stocky, so she was big.
Low center of gravity.
Yeah, I think she did cut a little bit because I think she came down from 69 kilos as well.
Is she tall? She's not taller than you?
No, she's much shorter than me. I'm taller than most girls in my category, 95%.
But they still get to your head?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, people who are shorter will throw overhand, so they'll come over the top.
You'll see it coming, no?
Yeah, it's easier to see, and I do have that advantage where I can just sort of step back. Yeah. Sometimes shorter people like to go to the body as well, so you have to have good defense because they're right there in your body, like
Then they're just giving you straight jabs to your stomach.
Or like come around the sides. These ones don't feel great, so you gotta tuck your elbows.
Fuck. And then what about, can you uppercut some of these dwarves? Can you just bam?
Yeah. The uppercut works good when you're tall.
Right in the face.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
They lean their head out too much.
Yeah, you're
right
like,
there.
I got you, sleepy. Bam, yeah. That'd be fun, yeah. Not but I have a problem, because I love watching it, but I cringe more when it's women fighting. A woman getting punched in the face still bugs me. I can't get over it. I'm like, no, don't hit her. Don't hit her. But then I'm enjoying like the competition aspect of it. But every time I see like a woman battered, it fucks with me. I'm like, this isn't good.
See, guys do that a lot too, especially when you spar. So sometimes I'll spar guys and they're like, oh, I don't want to hit a girl.
Yeah, it
but
feels...
then they get hit a few times and it all goes out the window. Their man ego comes out. They gotta prove.
No, that's fucking hilarious. Like, I can't hit a girl. I will kill her.
And now they're like, I'm going to hit this girl as hard as I can.
Oh, that to me is just, I don't know, it's fucked up. I love the competition of it. Same thing. I had seen Kim Clavel live. I remember at the casino, and I'm always happy about the competition. But every time I would see like a hard hit or a face, I was like, we shouldn't be doing this. We need to stop this right now. This isn't normal. I don't know why. I guess it's because how we're raised. Like I can't.
Yeah, it's just programmed.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. I guess, is that a good thing that we're like that? We're cool with the competition, but it still bugs us to see women beat up. I think that's a good thing. I think
you shouldn't want to see women beat up, but also should you want to see men beat up? Like the fact, I think it's like an equality thing that
I am cool with men. I'm gonna be honest. I am cool with men getting beat up. Not all men, like not innocent people, but like I'll feel bad like if they have a gash, but I'll still be like, you know what you got into, man. You got in there. You want to fight with this guy. For women, for some reason, I'm like, what are you doing? Don't do that. Leave her alone. Like it's weird.
The gash thing. That's why I'm so happy that we fight with headgear. In amateurs,
you don't have,
I wear headgear. Men don't. But when you don't wear headgear, you get a lot more cuts from headbutts or elbows,
and women can't carry them as well as men. But it's true. Let's say I have a cut over my eye or whatever, you could still be like, all right, he still looks like a normal dude. But if a woman who's otherwise pretty is all fucked up.
That's what I say. If they take the headgears out, I was like, I'm too pretty to lose my eyebrows. Like,
it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You're like, guys, I want to have another career after this. I don't want to be a mutant.
Yeah.
So
I don't necessarily think men carry them better. I think they just don't care. Like,
maybe that's why we carry them better. Yeah, they're just like, fuck it. It is what it is. I have no eyebrows.
Yeah.
They swipe. They continuously swipe right. They're like, somebody's gonna love these no eyebrows.
I think it looks cool. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to have scars on my face for some weird reason.
What?
Yeah, I thought it looked cool.
He's not a good representative of every human being. But, but I get it. A guy having a scar could look tougher. A woman having too many scars, you're like, she's in the wrong relationship. She doesn't cook well. Someone starts yelling at her, you gotta cook better. She's like, I'm a boxer. But yeah, it's too. I still can't get used to that though. So I'm glad you guys have the headgear. In pro fights, they don't though.
No, they don't.
Otherwise, they get fucking...
Apparently, someone told me, I think today, that they're thinking of taking the headgears out of women's boxing. So I don't want to, but I understand it from an equality standpoint. Like I say, equal. But honestly, I would just prefer if everyone wore headgear. Like I don't understand taking them out because if you're in a tournament, and even if you're a guy, you're in a tournament, you fight the first day, you have no headgear on, you take a headbutt, you're bleeding, you have stitches, then you probably aren't going to be able to fight the next day in the next round. So it's just...
Yeah, one shot, that thing's busted open. I get you with the headgear. I'm not sold on having to take it off. I'm used to boxing without headgear, but it doesn't mean that there shouldn't be headgear because other sports, like I play hockey, I got all kinds of equipment.
Yeah.
I have a question, if you don't mind. Does the headgear actually make a difference in the punches or just for the cuts?
So... There's been a lot of research and people will say it's inconclusive. What I've heard is that people get more concussions with headgear because it makes you a bigger target. So you're getting hit more, if that makes sense.
Okay, but that's a weird excuse because depending on who you're facing and how good you are in defense should also apply.
Oh, yeah. All other factors considered. Apparently, like if you were to fight the same person, same situation, and you were wearing a headgear versus
not that much of a bigger target.
I don't really, and apparently, but what I see is people take more risks when they wear a headgear. So
That'll believe.
because you have the security of, oh, I have my headgear. Whereas if you don't, then you might not take as many risks because you're worried about the repercussions. That's why I think if you threw me in a ring now with no headgear on, I don't know how I'd perform because I would be nervous. I don't know that I'd be a little hesitant because I don't want to come in too fast and headbutt someone and then like get a gash. So I don't really know what that transition's like. I know guys, as youth, you wear a headgear, and then as an elite, you don't. So, like, in that transition going from wearing headgear to not.
A lot of nerves.
A lot of nerves. I don't know how I'd do with that.
I'm thinking, even when I play for fun on Saturdays, and some people don't wear helmets, they'll just wear just a visor. I still have a full helmet with a full visor in the face. You know, my face is my livelihood. I don't want to get a fucking ball in the face or a stick. So I can't imagine boxing where it's just open and someone's going to punch me in the face, guaranteed, and then I got to go up on stage the next day. So it must be a weird transition to just be like, no more helmets. It should be, it'll be weird. But the helmet, does it change anything else in the fighting game?
Not really. Like, from guys that I've talked to, they say that like when you're wearing the headgear, the strap under your chin sort of like holds your chin up. So like when you have your mouth guard in, it's sort of like a reminder of like not to open your mouth. Like to keep your mouth closed and bite down on your mouth guard, which is what you're supposed to do. But I can't really say because I've never fought without a headgear. But yeah, I would say like the two biggest things are they say that you take more risks when you have your headgear on. So maybe that puts you in more dangerous positions. But then again, you also have padding protecting your head versus not.
You're also boxing. You're taking a risk already.
Yeah, you're in the ring. You're taking a risk. So I don't know.
What about gloves? Do you have a preference in gloves? I know that this was debated too on bigger gloves, smaller gloves. The smaller ones are better. No, they're worse for you. You have any thoughts on that?
So I fight with 10-ounce gloves. I hit the bag with like 12-ounce gloves, and then I spar with 16-ounce gloves. So the heavier glove, and it has like padding on the knuckles, so it's less. Like if you hit someone with a 16-ounce glove, it shouldn't do as much damage as a 10-ounce glove because 10-ounce glove, it's like you can almost feel your knuckles through it. Like it's not as much padding. But then when you go to a competition and you fight in a 10, you fight in competition gloves, and they distribute the padding more on the knuckles so that it's like more of like a pillow. But I just find that like training in heavier gloves I like because then when I put the 10-ounce gloves on, my hands feel so fast and so light. Because I'm used to hitting with 12-ounce or 16-ounce. So then I just feel so quick.
And you just ready to light these people up.
Exactly. Some people like to train in the same weight glove as they fight in because they're like, oh, like feel like the weight of my punches and sort of get used to it. But I prefer to train in a heavier glove and then go down in the lighter glove because it also like protects your hands. Like I have pretty delicate hands. Like I've had a lot of knuckle problems, a lot of wrist problems because we're punching things like 6 days a week. That's a lot on my little girl hands.
Yeah, no, it is a lot, yeah.
So I prefer to have more protection and then take them off for the fight.
And do you are you big when you're training into covering your wrist up, into tightening your wrist just in case?
So we wrap our hands with hand wraps, which like
it goes
knuckles,
all over,
wrists, everything between the fingers, like have a nice foundation. Then you put the glove on. And I actually have a really nice pair of lace-up gloves that I got, which I prefer because as a girl, I have smaller wrists, so a lot of the gloves are a little bit like too big, even if you really try to like tighten the Velcro. So the nice thing about the lace-ups is you can make them as tight as you want. So it's good.
One thing I just realized that because you were touching on when we were talking about the headgear and you were saying, well, equality. So I'm all for equality, but it should be like opportunity. So there should be equality. Like women should have an opportunity to compete in a sport that there's enough women to compete in, right? But it doesn't necessarily have to mean that like, okay, well, because these guys don't have headgear, they shouldn't either. That doesn't make it equal because every sport is different, right? Like it shouldn't be, I don't think that the excuse there should be like, take off the helmets off these girls because now it's not equal. That's kind of crazy to me. I feel like equal should be, they have their league. That's equal. But if their league has different fucking rules, that's like WNBA, for example, they play with a WNBA ball. They're not going to be like, all right, well, it has to be equal rules. Play with a ball that everyone's uncomfortable with. It would make no sense.
Yeah. The headgear is also for girls. One of the things that a lot of girls, myself included, if you took the headgear off, hair becomes an issue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It should be, there's reasons why it's there. It's not...
And not to say that there's not guys with long hair, but like if... Like I always get braids and then I put like a bandana and then I put my headgear on. But if I didn't have the headgear, like the bandana would come off and then my hair would get everywhere. So unless you're going to then pay for some hairstylist to come and like fix my hair every day
time
because I'm going to a tournament where I'm going to have 5 fights.
Oh, fuck, that'll be annoying.
Like every day you need to make sure that your hair is secure. And some people say, oh, just cut the hair off. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. Like I have long hair and I like it.
Me too.
So yeah.
What about, I know that they braid it also, the MMA girls, they also get it like all the braids and they make it tight. How tight does it stay?
I've had that done a couple of times and it is really tight. Obviously like different styles of hair or different textures of hair hold it better. So like because I'm white and I have white girl hair, like my hair doesn't stay as long. Like,
and it looks goofy, I find. Like every time I'll see a female athlete that does it, I'm like, it looks like she's a college girl that just came back from a trip to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Like that's what it looks like. She's just talking with an accent now. It's like, no, it's the only way to keep them.
Yeah, it's the only way to keep it. Like if I go to a tournament, I went to a tournament where I was there for like a week and I got my braids done. It was in Ecuador, so they had girls there that knew how to braid really well.
Okay.
And they did like, I think it was like 6 braids or something, and it stayed really well. But towards the end of the week, they were pretty frayed. Like my hair stunk. I was like, I need to take these out.
We need a do-over.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a little intricacies people never think about. You never think about the hair, like what you have to do. There's all kinds of other things associated, like around the boxing.
Yeah.
Like, does that happen to you where you're like, well, I gotta train, I gotta be like an athlete, but I have to also be feminine. I don't go get a fucking pedicure or whatever. Do you have to balance all that shit out? Is it annoying? You're like, God damn, I know this is gonna ruin my nails, but I have to do this training. Like, does that ever happen?
I don't have like girly nails. A couple of my teammates do, like the longer ones.
Aren't they gonna fuck it up when they punch something?
That's what I say, but some of them say that like they get them just long enough they don't touch the ends of their gloves.
Interesting.
So there's sort of like you got to know your gloves and maybe test the nails out.
But it's so annoying to be thinking of your nails because you're like, you should think of the punch, and then you're thinking too much of the nails, then you get a shot in the face because you're thinking of the nails.
Well, you're not thinking of the nails during the fight. I mean more so like, or like during sparring. It's more so like if you're going to get your nails done, you probably have to think of like what's going to fit in the gloves. But I don't get my nails done. I pick my nails. I'm bit of a bad habit.
You get nervous? Is it an anxious thing that you do it, or just routine?
Maybe a little bit of both. I don't know.
Because I'll scratch my, like I'll pick, I think it's anxiety for me. Like you just get anxious and it becomes your automatic go-to.
It's like a fixation thing. Like you move.
It's right
sensory,
there.
You might as well.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's what I think it is with me too. I think, and then you get used to it.
Yeah.
So it just becomes your thing but there's worse. Yeah, I know dudes that fucked up their whole lips because all they do is bite them and pull on them.
Ooh.
And they're like open and they can't stop. They just keep pulling. Yeah. And then I think about it, and then I'll bite my lip because I'm thinking about that. And I go, oh no, I don't want to do that. It's these weird fixations people have. People are weirdos.
Yeah.
People are goddamn weirdos. We should address that more. Fuck, this is exciting. I can't wait to fucking see you beat the shit out of someone soon. But I'm unlucky because you're going to be traveling the whole time. You're not going to fight any women. There's no scheduled women fights here.
Well, when I fight in the box off this summer for my position in Canada, it'll likely be in Quebec.
This is exciting. You're probably going to have us in your corner just yelling.
Okay.
It's
good to know because I'll be fighting someone from Quebec in Quebec, so you'll probably be the only ones in my corner.
Well, you're our homie now, so we're going to have your back. And us, we're fanatics. Like when we go to sporting events, we're annoying.
You're rowdy.
Yeah, well, we're rowdy, we're annoying. We were, I'm an annoying fan, I think.
That's okay.
I'm good for the team I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
But everyone else hates me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll go to the opposing arena. I don't mind. I was last week, Montreal Canadiens. I'm a Devils fan. It was me and Mike. Mike's going for the Habs because that's his team. Everyone's a Canadiens fan except for me. Just yelling for my team, and everyone's getting mad. They're like, shut up because the Habs are losing. I'm like, why are you so happy? And I'm just like, because my fucking team's winning. Your team's shit.
Yeah, what do you mean? If your team's winning, you should be allowed to cheer for them.
Yeah. I'm that kind of a fan. Do you have any fanatical fans that sometimes you'll have at fights and you'll be people just going crazy for you?
I think like the people who stand by me are always going crazy for me, but they're usually not in my corner because I travel so much. Like they're always back in New Brunswick or home in Canada. You know, I have some fans from like other places or people that I've met that support me, but they're usually not there actually cheering me on in person. So sometimes it's hard because when you fight, like I had a fight in my hometown in November and it was crazy. Like the whole city showed up. It was so much fun.
What a feeling. And
you get that you ride off the home crowd like cheering for you, and it feels so good, and you get all this energy. Different kind of energy though, because you're so excited to like put on a show. Like obviously you're there to fight, but you're excited to like put on a show for your city, like for your friends, your family. But when you go away on these tournaments, it's kind of lonely. Like, you don't have your friends, you don't have your family, you have your teammates, which like is good. Sometimes we travel in smaller groups. Like the one I just went on, it was just me and one teammate and 2 coaches.
Oh,
So
fuck. Okay.
she was fighting. I was like, like it's like one person, you know, versus like
this
a
is
whole
the family.
versus a whole team like cheering for the other people, because other countries send bigger teams sometimes. But this one we're going to in Finland, we're sending a full team of like 20 people. So
Okay, so you got the
it'll
squad.
be loud. Yeah, I'm excited.
Do you ever get lonely? I didn't have. Do you get lonely here?
Yeah, all the time. Like,
Fuck.
because I'm like, I don't really know many people here. I don't speak French, and like my family, my friends, a lot of people are back home. I've only met like one friend, the girl that I brought to the comedy show.
Yeah, that's it. That was the one friend you made.
That's like my only friend here. But
Okay.
I have a few teammates, but yeah, I haven't really met a lot of people here.
I'm gonna make an effort to be bringing you out more, because you can meet. Because I know, like, you can meet boxers, comedians. Like, you can make good friends, especially the boxers, because it would be nice,
Yeah.
someone that you have something in common with. You know,
I'd love to. I
you
love
both
that.
punching ladies in the face. So yeah, I'll make an effort to be sending you to invite you to shows, and so you could do stuff.
Cool.
Because I was thinking about that on your way here. I was like, well, what the fuck is she doing in Montreal? Like, when you're not training, because you're not from here.
No.
Like, it must get lonely.
Like when I'm not training, a lot of times, like, well, I'm always training, but like, cause we train Monday to Friday twice a day, and then we train once on Saturdays. So we have Saturday afternoon off and Sunday off, but that's it. So most of the time when I'm not training, I don't really have the energy to be doing much anyways.
You're reading.
So I'm like reading, cooking, eating, sleeping. Like
Those are fun activities. Don't fucking knock
those are
them.
good activities.
Everything
I
you
love
just said,
them.
I'm all for.
I do it all the time.
I'm not against anything. I'm all for.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie, it was a goddamn pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Very proud of you. You're kicking ass. You're gonna continue to kick ass. And if anybody who's watching this didn't know you, hopefully they follow you now. They know you. Your links are in the description. Follow her on Instagram. Your Instagram is fun because I keep seeing you punch stuff.
Yeah,
It
it's a good
motivates
time.
me sometimes when I don't want to go work out, and then I'll see you. I'll see you punch something. I'll be like, I gotta.
I should work it.
Yeah, she did it. Okay, I gotta try to punch a medicine ball. So thanks again, and good luck.
Thank you for having me.
We've built this prison cell, 'cause we can't trust ourselves.